The Fly and the Spider. Rebbe Nachman announced, "I'll tell you my entire trip that I had." A tale. There was once a king who had a number of hard wars up against him, and he conquered them and took many captives. The king made a big banquet every year on the day when he vanquished the war. There at the ball would be all the royal ministers and all the gentlewomen, as the usual way of kings goes, and comedy shows would be made, and they would make fun of all the nations. And they would imitate every nation in the way that their manner and conduct is, and they probably made fun of Jews as well. The king ordered to bring the book in which the mannerisms and customs of every nation are recorded. Meanwhile, as the spider was crawling and going toward the fly, a wind came along and lifted that page from the book. The spider could no longer go to the fly. Thus it happened several times. Afterwards again, the spider went towards the fly and was crawling along until it had already gotten itself up with one foot on the page. And the king had been watching all this and was very astonished. He understood that this is no empty thing, but rather he is being shown something through it, and all the ministers saw that the king is gazing and wondering at it. And the king began thinking, "What does this signify?" And he dozed off over the book. The king dreamed that he was holding a diamond in his hand and looking at it. An exaggerated number of people were emerging from it, and he threw the diamond down out of his hand. And the usual way by kings is that over them hangs their portrait, and on top of the portrait hangs the crown. He saw in the dream how the people who had emerged from the diamond took the portrait and cut off its head. Then they took the crown and threw it into the mud, and they ran towards him to kill him. Meanwhile, a tall mountain came to him and asked him, "Why are you screaming so? It is such a long time already that I sleep, and nobody at all has woken me up. And you have woken me up." He said to him, "How shall I not scream when they are rising up over me and want to kill me, except that this page is shielding me?" The mountain answered him, "If this page is shielding you, then you need have no fear of anything whatsoever, for many enemies rise against me as well, but this same page shields me. Come, I will show you." And on the mountain's peak is a tablet, and on it were written the mannerisms of the page that shields him, from which nations it is. But since the mountain is high, one cannot read the writing. However, at the bottom was a tablet. There it was written that whoever has all his teeth, he can go up on the mountain. God, may he be blessed, provided that there grows such a grass there where one needs to go up on the mountain, that whoever comes there, all his teeth fall out. Whether he was going by foot, riding, or driving a carriage by animals, always his teeth would fall out. Lying there were piles white with teeth like mountains. Later, the people from the diamond took the portrait and put it back together as previously, and they took the crown and washed it up, and they hung them back in their place. And the king woke up and immediately looked at the page that had shielded him. Which mannerism of which nation is it? He saw that written on it is the mannerisms of the sons of Israel. He came to the decision that he would journey in search of a sage who would solve the dream according to its essence. The king resolved, since he had already in fact spent so much time on it, he would wait longer until that day and that month which the sage had told him. The day came, and the sage did for him so, as described above, and smoked him with the incense. Meanwhile, someone did come and was running and shouting, "Master of the world, hear my prayer." They led the soul further through worlds, the term for world, whose root also denotes concealment. Hence, the world as a clothing and concealment of the blessed unity, in other words, worlds, in order to swear it in already, in order that it should go down on the earth. And he had not yet arrived, that is, the SM who was yelling earlier had not come yet, so they sent an emissary after him. He came and brought with him a little oldster, a hunched-over one, with whom he was long familiar, That is, the accuser had been acquainted with this old one from long ago, and he laughed and said, "I have already given myself an advice. This soul can now go down on the earth." They released the soul, and it went down on the earth, and he, that is the king, saw everything that happened to him from beginning to end, how he became king, the wars he had, etc. And he took captives, and among the captives was a beautiful woman who had every kind of charm in the world. However, this charm was not from herself. Rather, she would hang a diamond upon herself, and the diamond had all kinds of charm. And on account of that, it seemed she had all kinds of charm. And upon that mountain can no others ascend except the wise, the rich, etc., and more than this he did not tell. And there is a great deal more in this, from, "And he took captives," until the end was not written properly as he told it. A psalm of David when he fled. Hashem, Mahrabut Sarai, Rabim Kamim, Alai Hashem, how many are mine adversaries become? Many are they that rise up against me. Weata Hashem Magan Ba'adi, Kevodi Umerim Roshi, but you, Hashem, are a shield about me, my glory and the lifter up of my head. Koli El Hashem Ekra Weya Aneni, Mehar Kodsho Selah. With my voice I call out unto Hashem, and he answers me from his holy mountain, Selah, the mountain mentioned above. Ani Shakavti Waishana, I lay down and I sleep, as mentioned above. Hakadzodhi / I awake. Lo ira merivavotham / I will not fear a multitude of people. Ki hikitha ethkol oivai lechi, shine reshayim shibata, for you have smitten all my enemies on the cheek. You have broken the teeth of the wicked, for their teeth would fall out when they wanted to go up on the mountain. Alameka virkateka selah / may your blessing be on your people, Selah. Psalms 3. Stand and contemplate these wonders. If you are a living being, Bahal Nefesh, take your flesh up in your teeth and place your life, Nefesh, in your palm. Stand trembling and amazed. Let the hairs of your head stand on edge, and return again and wonder at these words which stand in the highest of heights.